starting it up, and we are good to go.
All right, very good. Well, let's go ahead and begin. This is the Planning Commission meeting for the town of Abingdon being held electronically tonight on July the 27th. I'd like to welcome everyone who's participating in the meeting and thank you for your flexibility and being willing to do this electronically rather than appearing in person. In order to begin tonight's meeting, let's have Mr. Boswell do a roll call for attendance purposes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Mr. Sproles?
Here.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Mr. Schuman?
Here.
And Mr. Austin?
And I'm here.
We have a quorum, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Next on their agenda is approval of minutes of the June 22nd meeting that we had. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Oh, this is Kenny. Also move.
All right. Mr. Schuman's made the motion to approve the June 22nd minutes without any modifications to those. Is there a second to that?
I'll second. Kirk.
Okay. Mr. Sproles has seconded that. Any additional discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed likewise. All right. I obviously am not at the town hall, but I assume, Mr. Boswell, there's no one from the public there that would like to address the Planning Commission?
Actually, Mr. Austin, there is one person on the public comment sheet, Mr. Blake Baker.
Okay. All right. Very good. Is he in a position there where he can address the Planning Commission now?
Yes, sir. He'll be approaching the podium in the Arthur Camp Room.
All right.
Greetings, gentlemen. I just wanted to say thank you for continuing to review this and looking for ways to make things work for the betterment of the town. So other than that, thank you, and let's do it.
All right, Mr. Baker, for the record, before you leave there, if you'll just give them your full name and address so we'll have that for our minutes, please.
My apologies. Robert Blake Baker. I'm at 239 Valley Street, Northeast Abingdon, Virginia, 24210.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, and I appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else, Mr. Boswell?
No, sir. That's it.
All right. Well, let's move on to discussion. That is on the agenda tonight. I understand we have no matters on that will need anything other than discussion tonight. And the first matter is discussion of the proposed zoning text amendment to allow two-family and multi-family dwellings as a permitted use in the office and institutional district. Mr. Boswell, you want to give us an overview of that, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Austin. This was brought to staff's attention over the last several months. There's been a lot of interest in a certain piece of property in the office and institutional district. I've distributed these aerials showing the Planning Commission members exactly where the office and institutional district lies within the town limits. We have very little office and institutional parcels. Let me log into my computer here real quick. The first page there in the packet is showing the office and institutional district along the western part of town limits, which encompasses a little bit of Colonial Road, and then the majority of it is the Virginia Highlands Community College. As you can see, all those parcels are already developed. The second aerial shot is in the middle of town, northwest along Russell Road, Campus Drive. There's several parcels there that are office and institutional. Those vacant lots there are now also being developed. There will be a pharmacy, a Holston Medical Group facility there. And then the majority of the office institutional there at William King Art Center. the third aerial is the area of concern that we've been getting a lot of public input about. Specifically, we have the Tanner White building that you'll see that's off of White Street and Tanner Street there. That used to be an office, a medical office. That character of that neighborhood has changed because KVAT is now sitting where the old Johnson Memorial Hospital was. So the current owner of the Tanner White building was wanting to, which is a permitted use in the office and institutional district. He was wanting to turn that into a dormitory for housing for the barter players. He had strong ties to the barter. That fell through. So now the current owner is looking to sell the building. As you all know, the likelihood of it being another medical office is pretty slim at this point because that whole character has changed. But we have had several people call in asking if they could convert that piece of property to a multi-family dwelling, which staff is in support of. So you've got that. You've got two parcels on the Court Street side there that are vacant. One of them is I've already had a conversation with a couple that wants to build a single family home there. And then the other is a parking lot for KVAT, which will probably not develop anytime soon. The last aerial there is Mike Ninkestner's property, which you all recently let him subdivide those pieces of property for single family dwellings. And I'd like to point out that all the office and institutional district is surrounded by residential neighborhoods, and single family dwellings are already a permitted use in O&I. Staff is proposing to allow two-family dwellings or multifamily dwellings as either a permitted use or special use, whatever the Planning Commission deems appropriate.
All right, thank you very much. All right, discussion from the Planning Commissioners.
I guess I have a question. So if single family dwellings are already there, it seems like that'd be reasonable. Multifamily dwellings, how close are we to that, or in terms of that area? Is there multifamily dwellings around it, or?
Yes, sir. But back and behind is the Barter Foundation. All that is dormitory style housing for the Barter. Some of it's storage for some of their costumes and props and things of that nature. But there's quite a bit of housing already there, multifamily housing. What I'm proposing is allowing the multifamily dwellings or two-family dwellings with the regulations from our highest density residential district. To allow for 10,000 square feet plus 2,500 square feet per additional dwelling over two-family dwelling units, which when you look at that, that's about the only spot in the office and institutional district besides Mr. Ninkestner's property that would be able to meet those requirements.
So you're suggesting that we allow both single family, multifamily with that, I guess, definition in that area.
Yes. Yes, and again, staff really doesn't have a preference. Being that we're getting ready to do a complete update of the zoning ordinance, I'll leave that to the Planning Commission to discuss whether they would like to allow it as a permitted use or a special use.
Do we gain anything by? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to have single family as a special use since it's all around there anyway.
It's already allowed by right in O&I. Single family, Mr. Sheehan.
And what would be the advantages and disadvantages, Mr. Boswell, whether it be special use or otherwise?
The advantages of having it as special use is, of course, the Planning Commission can regulate where they would like to see these multi-family dwellings if allowed by special use. If you allow them by right, and as long as the area meets the regulations of 10,000 square feet plus 2,500 square feet for each additional unit over two, then we would have to allow it.
Right. Just more control they would be able to maintain over.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And you could allow for, whatever regulations that you
Sure.
per the site plan requirements, asking for open space and adequate parking, things of that nature.
But that would, if we do that, then potentially when all the review is done, basically this could be a short-term fix, similar to what we would be talking about with the rental property. You'd have some control until you reviewed the whole thing in the next, year or so, and then you would.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Schuman.
Well,
I just don't want to see that building's been sitting there vacant for years. And we've got quite a few bites, have turned several developers away wanting it to just renovate it to be multifamily units. And obviously the town of Abingdon needs affordable housing. We just think staff feels that it would be a good idea to go ahead and let somebody convert that to a multifamily dwelling. That way that building's not sitting there vacant and blighted. The current property owner is in Florida, lives in Florida.
All right, so tonight you're just asking for direction as to what planning commission members would like to see in terms of a proposed text amendment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
I personally think that it should be special use and maintain the control over it, but I'd certainly be in favor of an amendment to allow it as stated in the discussion.
Mr. Chairman, do you want a motion to that effect?
Yes, sir. I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, I so move.
All right. A second to Mr. Schuman's motion.
I'll second.
All right. Any additional discussion? All right. If not, all in favor say aye.
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 All right. Are there any opposing that? All right. That motion is carried unanimously then. All right. Moving on in the discussion section is a discussion of the proposed text amendment to allow the short-term rentals as defined by the Code of Virginia, Section 15.2-983 in B1, B2, and B3 business districts. Mr. Boswell.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. As Mr. Schuman had pointed out earlier, it's kind of the same situation. This is a quick fix. I'll realize that there is a zoning update, comprehensive zoning update on the horizon over the next 12 to 18 months. And a lot of this stuff could potentially change. But having said that, in last discussion with the planning commission felt perhaps that, we were holding Mr. Baker or anybody else that would want to do a short-term rental hostage, and we definitely don't want to do that. So staff's recommendation is, we've got two definitions in our existing zoning ordinance that pertain to short-term rentals. One is a boarding house, commonly known as a rooming house or a tourist home. We could look at adding that as a special use, which is what staff's recommendation would be, similar to the multifamily and O&I. That way, Planning Commission has some sort of regulatory control over where some of these short-term rentals would be allowed.
All right.
At last meeting, we talked about the fact that you could build a hotel or motel in that, and as a use. But if that was done, then there would have to be something come before the Planning Commission. So I think it's a good idea to do exactly what we just did with OI and make it a special use just so we can make sure that that it's appropriate if there is a piece of property that somebody wants to use as a short-term rental. And then I think when you do the review, you would have potentially a whole lot better definition on some of these things than we have now, and hopefully you could move to a use where you wouldn't have to do special uses, a by right use with the right definition.
Right. I think that is a good idea, and I like that personally.
Now, the state code definition for short-term rental means the provision of a room or space that is suitable or intended for occupancy for dwelling, sleeping, or lodging purposes for a period of fewer than 30 consecutive days in exchange for a charge for the occupancy, which is pretty good language. I mean, we have in our current code a little bit more specific definitions for specific types of uses for short-term, but I'm with Mr. Schuman. I believe that we need to have a good definition for what's allowed.
And that's what you furnished us.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, any other members have comments to make on that? All right. Mr. Schuman, do you have a motion in regards to that?
Yeah, I'll just move that we allow short-term rentals as a special use in, it would be in B2 and B3.
B1, B2, and B3?
I'm sorry, B1, B2, and B3.
Uh-huh. Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All right. Motion made and seconded. Any additional discussion on that? If not, all in favor of the motion, say aye. And anyone who is opposed? All right. What's the time frame on us being able to do that, Mr. Boswell?
I'll have that in front of the Planning Commission at the next meeting, so September.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Next, we have a review and a discussion of the updated Town of Abingdon Comprehensive Plan for 2020.
Now, this one is a little bit more of a bear, gentlemen, and I'm not going to waste your all's time of going through all 109 pages. But I did want the
Thank you.
Yes, sir. But I did want the Planning Commission members to be aware that we are nearing completion of this comprehensive plan update. And I can't thank the steering committee members enough, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Schuman, Mr. Bradley, who's no longer on the commission, but gave a lot of great feedback. The consultant has done a fantastic job, and then just the public engagement, stakeholder engagement that we had along with town staff, they've done a fantastic job. And I have to say, I'm very proud of what EPR has presented. Now, having said that, I've got an updated version of this with all the nice bells and whistles with the pictures that I will be sending you all after this meeting. You got the bare bones draft of there's really no pictures or graphics, but this is a very, very nice document, and the town manager has reviewed, and he himself was pretty pleased with it. Just wanted to open it up for any discussion that the Planning Commission members may have pertaining to anything that's going on with comprehensive plan.
Let me say, I read through this, and Jason, you back to the
You sure did.
consultant. And I reviewed it in pretty much detail. I'd suggest everybody commit it to memory. But it is a long document, but I agree with Jason. It is really well done. I found some little things there, and in all seriousness, it really is worth a read, because the one thing that concerns me about this document, I don't know if I say concerns, but the last comprehensive plan let us down, and I think this is a really big improvement. I think we need to look carefully at the land use maps. But I think they've done a really good job. I found some little things that I thought were important to note, but overall, particularly as it relates to the action items and how they're set up, I think it's dynamite.
All right.
Scott, you looked at it, didn't you?
You speaking to me?
I said Scott Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
All right. Yes, I did. I spent a lot of time reading it, and it was actually, I mean, it's really well put together. So I didn't have a lot of comments, but everybody did a really good job that was involved in it. There was a
Well,
lot of time put into that.
yeah, we definitely couldn't have done it without you all and your input, and I can't thank you enough for that. But yeah, staff's pretty proud of how it came together. And as good as this looks, when I send you the proposed final draft, which I do have, I got that over the weekend from Mr. Gordon from APR. I think you'll all really like it. So my intent is the consultant has went ahead and posted this on the Envision Abingdon website. It should have been posted on the town website. I haven't checked, but it should have been. They have put out a survey monkey, and they're going to do that for the next 2 weeks to get any possible public comment back on anything that may need to be revised. If it is revised, I'll revise it and I will send it over to the Planning Commission members. If it's not revised, we're going to try to have this on the, it'll be the August. I'm sorry. I told Mr. Austin wrong on the last one. It'll be the August meeting for both of these proposed text amendments and to take a look at adopting the comprehensive plan.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
It would be good to put all that information on social media so it could be shared around.
Yes, sir.
Just to make sure everybody that, has an interest knows it's out there.
Yes, sir. And that's a great idea. We've already thought about that, and that's our intent, but we didn't want to put out the draft. We wanted to put out the actual, what it's actually going to look like with the graphics. EPR is finished with that, so that will be being posted within the week.
Sounds good.
All right, very good. Any other comments on the comprehensive plan? All right, if not, or is there any old business, matters not on the agenda, or announcements that we need to make tonight? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Gentlemen, thank you very much for meeting with us electronically tonight. Hopefully in the very near future, we'll be able to go back to some face-to-face meetings. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Boswell and staff, for all the work you do.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
Good evening.